What's up, everyone? It's Scotty with MoneyVest. So in this video, we are going to be talking about Amazon. Amazon did sell off quite aggressively here in the last couple of days. It is down on the day today as well on the back of the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission's lawsuit against Amazon on antitrust policies and, of course, creating an environment of where Amazon is a straight up monopoly is what they are claiming for this company. So we're going to break that down. Amazon did retaliate. They did issue a press release kind of, basically saying that the FTC's allegations are misleading and false and inaccurate. So we're going to go over both of those reports. And I'm also going to go over if Amazon were to break out into separate companies, what those fundamentals might look like for Amazon. So hope you guys enjoy this video and find it helpful. It's going to be definitely very, very important for all Amazon shareholders. And again, links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. We'd love to have you on board as a MoneyVest member. So there is a 16% annual discount that's available till the end of this month. So you can access and, of course, join our community for another 3 days. And that's the early bird investor tier that's going to be available. And after that, it is going to expire. So links are going to be down below. So this right here was the report, September 26th. Today is the 27th. So FTC sues Amazon for illegally maintaining monopoly power. So Amazon's ongoing pattern of illegal conduct blocks competition, allowing it to wield monopoly power to inflate prices, degrade quality, and stifle innovation for consumers and businesses. Now, those are very, very bold claims, obviously, and they basically mentioned, and I quote, "Our complaint lays out how Amazon has used a set of punitive and coercive tactics to unlawfully maintain its monopolies." This is literally on the FTC's website, so that's public information. And the complaint sets forth detailed allegations, noting how Amazon is now exploiting its monopoly power to enrich itself while raising prices and degrading services for the tens of millions of American families who shop on its platform and the hundreds of thousands of businesses that rely on Amazon to reach them. And today's lawsuit seeks to hold Amazon to account for these monopolistic practices and restore the lost promise of free and fair competition. We're bringing this case because Amazon's illegal conduct has stifled competition across a huge swath of online economy, and Amazon is a monopolist that uses its powers to hike prices on American shoppers and charge sky-high fees on hundreds of thousands of online sellers. So those are, again, very, very bold comments. This was basically released yesterday as well from Amazon. The FTC's lawsuit against Amazon would lead to higher prices and slower deliveries for consumers and hurt businesses. This is basically on Amazon's website. So going after, FTC is going after Amazon. Amazon obviously responding to their complaint. And they mentioned the FTC's complaint alleges that our pricing practices, our fulfillment by Amazon offering, and our Amazon Prime are anti-competitive, meaning that they lower competition. And in so doing, the lawsuit reveals the commission's fundamental misunderstanding of retail. Now, look, Amazon is a company that has probably the most amount of data on consumers and their shopping behaviors. I think that's a fact. I have to look it up, but I have no sort of surprises here because I do believe that Amazon probably is one of the only companies on earth with most consumer shopping data available to them. Now, yes, there's no black and white here, right? Because there's no right or wrong because, look, companies are going to use that data to help them become more efficient and allow them to offer a better customer experience, allow them to offer a better service so that they actually benefit, right? That's how capitalism, at the end of the day, that's how it works, right? Every company is obviously looking out for themselves and their self-interest. So if Amazon is a company that actually has a lot of data, of course they're going to use it. Now, there is that level of that extent of use, and when they are actually starting to cross that line, that of course is going to be debatable in this entire lawsuit, is when do those services and when do those offerings become so monopolistic that they're wiping out competition, right? And which obviously Amazon disagrees with. They say that, we are creating an environment for more competition and not less. In order to demonstrate how the commission's case would negatively impact consumers and businesses that sell in our store, we think it's important to address some key areas of FTC's complaint and explain how Amazon's pro-competitive model actually works and not anti-competitive model. And this has happened with Apple, right, on their services side. This has happened with Google. This has happened with Microsoft. FTC has been going after these big tech companies for a very long time over these monopolistic practices and creating an environment of anti-competitiveness, right? Because these companies are so big, FTC has always tried to break them apart. But look, the problem really here is that that's literally how capitalism work. Of course, like I said, there is a fine line and there is no right or wrong here because a lot of companies are going to do things that benefit them. Right? For example, Apple is doing everything possible to keep their App Store services a bit of a monopoly, right? At the end of the day, it is a monopoly, right? For Apple and services, depending on, it doesn't matter how they spin it. Same thing with Google as well, with Android and of course different search, for example, right? Google search is a straight up monopoly, right? There's no other competitors out there. Bing, I don't even know who uses Bing or Yahoo or whatever. It is literally Google's monopoly when it comes to search. But Google spins it in a way that it makes it seem like, nope, we are very competitive and there are a lot of competition out there for search and for other technologies. And this is, literally the gist of the matter here, that FTC has been going after these big tech companies to segregate them and break them apart so that it is quote unquote pro competition. But at the end of the day, these are companies that are the biggest companies in the world, and they're obviously going to do what's in the best interest for them. And they are also providing a lot of value to individuals and businesses along the way. So FTC's case alleges that our practice of only highlighting competitively priced offers and our practice of matching low prices offered by other retailers somehow lead to higher prices, but that's not how competition works. The FTC has it backwards, and if they were successful in this lawsuit, the result would be anti-competitive and anti-consumer because we'd have to stop many of those things we do to offer and highlight low prices, and a perverse result that would be directly opposite or opposed to the goals of antitrust law. The FTC's allegation also allege that somehow we force sellers to use our optional services, which is simply not true. Sellers have choices, and many succeed in our store using other logistics services or choosing not to advertise with us. And, we also enable sellers to use the Trusted Prime badge when other logistics services are able to meet our Prime customers' high expectations for fast, reliable delivery. They also mentioned that, innovation to make Amazon Prime a great deal for customers. Innovation at the core of Amazon's DNA. Our innovations are often driven by our obsession with delighting customers, and we invent things customers may not be asking for yet. Amazon Prime has started as a free shipping program, but has since become a lot more, even though customers already loved it. That's because Amazon founder Jeff Bezos noted in his 2017 letter to shareholders that customers are divinely discontent with customers. Yesterday's vow quickly becomes today's ordinary, so we have to keep innovating to keep customers happy. And I think that's really the gist of Amazon. Amazon's always been a customer-centric company, right? It's almost, since the beginning of time, Amazon's main focus has been on the customers. They've always put the customers first. Fast, reliable deliveries, Prime memberships, offering more services, offering more features, more discounts, lower prices. That's always been Amazon's mantra, right? That's really where the focus has been. And because of the fact that they're so successful now, while keeping customers first, is the reason why they're so big now, right? And that's the reason why FTC is coming after Amazon. And customers love Prime because it's such a great experience, which makes it hard to understand why FTC attempts to paint the value of Prime as somehow anti-competitive. And antitrust laws encourage companies to compete vigorously by offering the best deals they can for consumers. We've done that with Prime, and this is good for competition, consumers, and sellers in our store. And we'll vigorously oppose any attempt to degrade or destroy Prime memberships. And FTC's complaint grossly mischaracterizes the retail industry and the dynamic competition that consumers benefit from every day. Consumers today still buy over 80% of retail products in physical stores, so online e-commerce still doesn't dominate majority of shopping. And as any other shopper knows, you can buy the same products at any number of different retailers that compete vigorously with each other, including brick and mortar stores, online stores, and quickly growing hybrid models like buy online, pick up in store as well. Now, this right here, I do want to point out that this, again, one last thing that I want to mention is maintaining the benefits of Amazon stores for consumers and sellers. We are proud we're always there to spur low prices, innovation, competition across retail, and we intend to keep doing that for years to come. We fundamentally disagree with FTC's allegations, which are in many cases wrong or misleading as well, is what they mentioned. So definitely snapping back in quite literal fashion here. And, they also mentioned, FTC also mentioned that Amazon, to some extent, is hiding a lot of their competition and they're burying them in search. And I think those are things that are going to potentially get investigated. And from an investor standpoint, yes, this is concerning. Yes, this is something that's, not to be taken lightly. But I will also point out that these are things that have happened before. Meta's gone through this. Google's gone through this. Microsoft has gone through this. Apple's gone through this. Amazon has indeed gone through this in the past. But now we're once again seeing this come up as a potential negative catalyst. Now, I don't believe I personally don't believe that Amazon is going to get separated into different pieces where e-commerce is different than AWS and advertising. I don't believe that's going to take place, but again, you never know. Anything is possible when you are working with these government agencies, including the Federal Trade Commission. Now, if that were to happen, if you take a quick look on where the business is coming from, e-commerce obviously makes up almost $400 billion worth of revenue. AWS in 2022, by the way, these are 2022 numbers. AWS was $80 billion, advertising was $38 billion, so total $514 billion for the company in 2022. And if you take some very simple net margins, right? E-commerce obviously has very, very low net margins. AWS advertising is probably going to have a little bit higher margins of 30%. E-commerce is going to be 5%. So overall net income, if you segregate these companies and if they were run separately on their own, would be $55 billion, right? Just on a rough estimate basis. Now, if you take into account the multiples of these net income, so e-commerce, low margin business, we're going to assign, let's say 18 times P multiple for this. This right here is going to be closer to 30 because it's a software company now. AWS, Amazon Web Services, high margins, high multiples, 30 times. And this right here also is an advertising company, very high margins, does deserve pretty decent 28 times margins. We're going to go with 28 here. And if you take the sum, this would be the market cap at just under $1.4 trillion. And right now, you'll notice that Amazon is trading at just under $1.3 trillion. So separate them or not, I think Amazon's valuation, even right now, 1.27, 1.3, 1.4 is appropriate. Obviously, it's not undervalued. Undervalued would be closer to 1 trillion, sub 1 trillion. That's when it starts to become very attractive at those levels. But yes, technically speaking, it is seeing a lot of momentum to the downside. There's a lot of weakness brewing here. Last week it was down 8%. This week it's down another 3.6%. And that next support is going to be all the way down to $103, $104 per share. But I do believe that Amazon's going to fight this pretty aggressively. At the end of the day, there might be a settlement which hurts Amazon here in the short term. But over the long term, I don't believe that they are going to get separated, because if they are, well, then guess what? They're going to set the precedent moving forward, and then Meta's going to be in trouble, Google's going to be in trouble, Microsoft's going to be in trouble. A lot of these companies that actually do honestly have monopolistic practices in different areas of their businesses are also going to start getting hit with these lawsuits, and Amazon could set up that precedent moving forward. So I don't believe that's going to take place, but yes, this is a bit of a negative catalyst, which eventually could lead to a settlement that might be expensive enough to take a bit of a hit for Amazon in the short term. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think and what do you believe is potentially going to be the outcome for this FTC lawsuit. As always, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I am still confident long-term with Amazon and its path to profitability over the long term. So we'll be looking at low 100s, we'll be looking at selling some puts and dollar cost averaging at lower prices. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.